I pour another glass of wine, the pale yellow Riesling glugging from the bottle. This is no civilized half glass like they serve in restaurants. It's filled nearly to the rim. It's been one of those days. As I walk to the living room, I take a sip, savoring the cool sweetness and the silence of the house. My husband is putting our 4-year-old son to bed, and my time finally belongs to me. "You're a heavy drinker," my husband's concerned words from a few weeks ago echo through my mind. I know why he worries. There are some nights like tonight when I pour a second, even a third glass, and for a moment I think about my mother. I'm not like her, I tell myself. I'm a social drinker. But it's hard to convince myself of this when I'm sitting alone on the sofa, cradling my glass and watching HGTV. I know my mom drank when I was 4, even though I don't really remember it. The problems came about 10 years later when she and I lived in a small house by a shallow lake, the yard all sandy soil and leaves. Some nights I would come home on the late bus from school after basketball practice or yearbook, walking down the dark wooded road and dreading one scenario as the house came into view. Her car was in the driveway, but all the lights were off. This meant she was home and probably drunk. Sometimes she'd be passed out in her room with the door closed, and I could heat up some frozen pizza and do my homework in front of the TV. Other times, though, I crept by the open door of her bedroom, seeing the orange glow of her cigarette as she sat silently in the dark, drinking and smoking. These nights were lonely, but there were definitely worse times. The time I waited on the concrete steps of the library after it closed, insisting to the librarian as she locked up, "No, I'm fine, my mom's coming to get me." Then sitting another hour before slinking to the police station across the street, the only place open at that time, to call her. Or the time she was supposed to drive me and a boy I had a crush on to the birthday party of the most popular girl in our grade, and I came home to find her slurring and overly cheery, trying to hide the fact that cocktail hour had started early that day. I slammed out of the house, walked the half mile to the boy's house to tell him and his parents, "My mom can't drive us to the party, she's drunk." Or the time I answered the front door to meet the serious face of a state trooper. My immediate thought, "She's dead," didn't even faze me. Instead, my mind raced through the possibilities of whom I'd live with. My best friend's family? One of my older siblings? Yikes, my father? "Your mother's fine," the trooper told me. "She was in an accident and totaled her car, but she's okay." These memories nag me as I laugh with my mommy friends about grown-up juice boxes and mommy's time out. Posts appear on Facebook at the witching hour. "Man, I need a drink. Vodka, take me away." I joke along, just another mom who likes a drink to relax after a long day of tantrums and thrown food and potty accidents. But sometimes I wonder, am I like her? In many ways I am. That's why I know I need to be careful. I know I could easily become just like her if my life, through some circumstances, became like hers was during those years. She was a single mom, struggling to support herself and a smart-ass teenager, dealing with the cancer and death of her closest friend. I get it. And when I imagine myself in that situation, I can see how easy it would be to give up on life, to turn to drinking, and to convince myself that I'm not affecting my child. But in so many other ways, I'm not like her. I've had more options in life than she ever did, and I have a life full of rewards. I have a supportive husband. I've had a great education and a rewarding career, one that I was even able to continue part-time after I had my son. I have a nice home, a terrific group of friends, and perhaps most importantly, I have the insight of what it's like to grow up with a parent who seems to love to drink more than she loves me. Sometime when I was in high school, my mom got her act together. She joined AA, she made sober friends, and after that, our relationship settled into the more typical mother-daughter conflicts. "Is that what you're wearing?" That sort of thing. Eventually, she started having a drink again here and there, a glass of wine with dinner, a cold beer on a summer day, and I cringed a little at first when she did, but her drinking never got as bad as it was during those years in the house by the lake.